Hey everyone, and welcome to the first part of a three-part series where we'll go through the process of analyzing data in Excel. Data analysis is the process of turning raw numbers into useful insights that can be used to make business decisions. Excel is one of the major softwares still used in industries like finance, consulting, accounting, and so it's still worth knowing how to learn to process data in Excel. This video particularly will be for beginners, so if you're new to the platform or if you need a refresher, this video should be perfect for you. I will touch upon the first and most important concept in data analysis, so there should be something of value to you even if you know how to use Excel. There will be timestamps in the description box below, so if you want to jump around, you can do that. Enough with the intro, let's get into it. All right, so we're in our Excel workbook. The Excel file itself is called a workbook, and the tabs within the workbook are called worksheets. This is going to be important when you start coding and building macros in VBA. You would have to specify workbooks versus worksheets. At the top here, we have our ribbon, which contains a lot of different command prompts. You will use this to change your font size, change the layout of the page, do some conditional formatting, select the data type of your data, go into filters, into different formulas, insert pivot tables. And so the ribbon at the top is a very important component. The grid lines below me, which contain data, is where you will actually start working with your Excel sheet. Each box in your worksheet is called a cell, and a cell is denoted by first the column name and then the column number. So the cell that we are on right now is H3. You can also see the name of the cell at the top left right here. Before we start playing around with the data, I want to just quickly go through a few things. You will be using a lot of different functions. The first function I want to show you is the sum function. To write a function, you will first hit the equal sign on your keyboard, start typing in the function, which is sum, and you'll see that Excel automatically gives you a bunch of different options. One important thing is using shortcuts, which is going to make you more efficient in your use of Excel or any software for that matter. So when you start typing sum, you'll see that you have different options. Instead of typing down the entire function or clicking on it with your mouse, you can hit tab on your keyboard and you'll see that the function is populated in the cell with open parentheses. You can hit command and the left arrow to go to the closest populated cell in Excel, and then I'll use my arrow keys to go to my revenue column. Right now it's called total, but I imagine that this is the total revenue. This function is giving you an aggregate value of your data set. And so I want to select the entire column so I can know the total sum of my revenue. To select an entire column, you would hit Command, Shift, and the down arrow key, and then hit close parentheses and then hit enter, and you'll get the total revenue. Now I'm using a MacBook, which is why I'm using the command key, but if you're using a Windows computer, you will use the control key on your keyboard. When you see numbers that have no units, no explanation around them, those numbers don't mean anything. And so right now I can see that I have the total sum as 33,939. But what is that? Is that the total number of units or is it a currency value? In our case, this is the total revenue, which is a currency value. And so I want to change the data type on the total. So selecting the cell, I will go up here in the ribbon and hit the accounting number format, which is going to convert this to a dollar value. If I was interested in another aggregate function, the average maybe, I will start typing it up and then hit tab on my keyboard. You'll notice that when you're using functions in Excel, it actually tells you the parameters that you need for that function. In our case, we just need one number. So again, I'll hit command and the left arrow key to go straight to my data set without having to hit the arrow key twice for column H and then G. Hit command shift and then the down arrow key to select the entire column, hit close parentheses, and I have the average value. Again, to give the number some meaning, you would have to select the data type, and over here it's $484.84. Another function you might use on a regular basis when you're analyzing data is extracting your year, month, and date from your date column. This is not an aggregate function. We are extracting the year for each of the dates that we have in our data set. And so I will hit equals because that's how you write functions. I would start typing in the name of the function, which is year, hit tab to open up the parentheses, and it's asking me to give it a serial number. In this case, it is my date value on the left, close parentheses, and it will extract the date. Now we want to apply this formula to our entire column, and the way we can go to the last row is again by using Command Shift and the downwards arrow. However, if I do it in this column, if I hit Command and the down arrow, it's going to go all the way to the very last column because there is no data populated. So what we need to do is we go to the first column that is populated, which is in our case column G, and then I will hit the Command key and the downward arrow key, which takes me to the very last column. Then I would go to the right because this is the column that we need to apply our formula in. Command Shift and then the upward arrow key to select the entire column, and then I will hit Command D to populate the formula in all my cells. Another way is to double click at the bottom right to drag the formula all the way to the bottom. One thing you should know is how Excel handles blank rows. You would have to consider that blank row because when you use shortcuts, it would only select the first blank row that we found, right? Initially, that was our very last row, but in this case, we have a random blank row in our data set. And so if I write the month function here again, and then I hit Command and the downward arrow key, you'll notice that it doesn't go to the very last row, it goes to row 12. So in this case, what you would want to do is you want to make sure that it's at the very bottom and then select the entire column and hit Control D. This takes me to the next important thing in Excel, which is applying filters. There are two ways to apply filters. One is in the Home tab. You can click here and you can click on Filter, or you can go to the Data tab in your ribbon and click Filter there. One extremely important thing is that you do not in any circumstance want to apply a filter without either selecting your entire worksheet or the entire column where you will be applying the filter, and let me show you why. Right now, I just clicked on Filter, and if I want to filter out values for 2022, you'll see that the filter was only applied to the first 12 rows before the blank row. And this is important because when you get really large data sets, it's very common that you would have random blank rows in your data. And if you just click on Filter without selecting anything, it will only select the first few rows before the first blank row. And that is going to give you incorrect values when you're just looking for quick answers and you're not putting everything in a pivot table. So using filters is extremely important, but you must select your entire sheet, which you can do right here, or you manually select all your columns and then click on the filter option. The keyboard shortcut to selecting your column is Control Space, and then you will hold down the Shift key and the right arrow key to select all your columns, and then you will hit Command Shift F to apply a filter. So this is how you can apply a filter using your keyboard shortcut. One of the functions that is extremely important that you will use both in Excel and in Power BI is the trim function. And what trim does is that it removes extra spaces that are unnecessary in your data set. For example, I can see that under customer name, there are extra spaces, and this makes it difficult for us to do lookups or to use left and right functions, stuff like that. And to start a function, I would hit equals, close parentheses, and then hit enter. I no longer need column B in my data set. Select the entire column using Control and Space. It selects the entire column, and then I will hit Command and minus to delete this column. Okay, so this is an important thing, and I'm so happy that this happened. When you are cleaning your data set and you know that you will be deleting your original columns, you want to make sure that you copy paste the values that are referencing a column that will be deleted, because as soon as that column is deleted, Excel will not have anything to reference to, right? So if I go back to my cell here, it says trim and reference because the reference no longer exists. So what I need to do before deleting anything in my data set is to copy paste values. So I will select the entire column and hit Command C, and I'm just going to paste the values instead of keeping this as a formula. So I would hit Control Command V, which opens up the paste special box. You can also open this up by clicking on the first cell right here, going to paste special, and then you paste values. But I'm going to show you the shortcut to do that. So Control Command V, and then hit V again. and click on OK. You can hit escape on your keyboard to get out of a formula. And you'll see right now that we have names in the cells instead of the formula that we had before, which means that now if I go and delete column B, there will be no reference error. So I can select the entire column, which is control and space. And then I want to delete this column, which is command and minus. Perfect. So now I don't have any errors in my customer name column. In my case, I already have the customer name, but I did ask ChatGPT to divide it into first name and last name so that I could show you the concatenate function, which is also a very important function that you will be using. So what the concatenate function does is that it uses text or numbers from different cells and it brings it together into one. So for example, if I have first name and last name in different columns and I want just the complete customer name, I can use concatenate for that. So I would hit equal and then I will start typing the concatenate function. I think in the older versions of Excel, the formula was concatenate, but in the new versions, it's concat. So I will hit tab. So if I go to column F, and then I will hit comma and then last name, and you'll see that the way it comes up is not the same as customer name. So we'll see that there is no space in Emma Smith. When you are using the concatenate function, you have to specify every single character that you need in your final result. So in my case, I need the first name, then a space, and then a last name. So what I will do is I will hit equal, concat function, hit tab to bring it up, and then I go into my first cell, hit comma, and then I need a space character in between. So I will just add a space character like so, hit comma again, and select the last name, close parentheses, and now I have Emma Smith the way I want it in my customer name. The one thing that I do want to mention, which is the most important step in data analysis, is the problem statement. Before you even start thinking about cleaning the data and putting in all the fancy functions and making pivot tables and doing lookups, creating dashboards, all of that, you need to know the why behind it. In my case, I have my 3 tabs. I want to look at the products that the customers are purchasing the most. In my customer data, I have the city and country, so I can figure out in which countries am I selling the most product. In my order tab, I have items returned or not, so I want to see which items are being returned the most. So this is the kind of data that I will be working with, and these are the problems that I will be solving. And this concludes the first part. In the next part, we're going to start cleaning the data. We'll start making more sense of it. We'll look at different data types. We'll do some exploratory data analysis. So I hope you got a good introduction to Excel, and you probably now know how to navigate the platform. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.